We have factored it in this year's budget.
How much?
2 million.
Clerk, you know there's an offense called perjury.
Yes.
You have taken oath, and do not respond just to get off an issue.
No, we have.
Of what business is the assembly doing a valuation role? Did you dispose the vehicles you're talking about?
We disposed it 2022.
So then they should have been part of this register for that financial year.
Okay.
So this is incomplete.
The prior period adjustment applies to the corrections of an error in the financial statement of a prior period. The prior year adjustment for the year under review was necessitated by a refund of the unspent balances in the county revenue fund account.
Auditor General, is that sensible accounting treatment?
Chair, we found it satisfactory.
Number 2, summary of fixed assets.
Paragraph 2.0, summary of fixed assets. Annex 4 to the financial statements reflects...
I think, again, looking at the time, there are 2 issues here.
Yes, Chair.
There was no fixed asset register that was up to date.
Yes.
And there was a variance of 414 million that was unexplained. We go straight to the issue. Does the County Assembly have an up-to-date fixed asset register, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Where is it?
It is at the County Assembly premises.
Is it? Do we have a copy here?
Yes, it is Annex 2.
Annex 2.
Yes. Said, where is it?
So Annex 2, is this register prepared in line with the templates that have been issued by the National Treasury? Clerk?
Yes.
So take, for example, motor vehicles. Where are the motor vehicles in your schedule?
It's in the last page of the register.
Try to be a bit loud so that you are audible.
Last page of the register, Mr. Chairman.
How many motor vehicles do you have in the assembly?
Chair, point of order. Can this clerk speak closer to the mic?
Yeah, and clerk, you have nothing to fear. You have not been contemptuous to the Senate, so we cannot move from...
Please speak with...
How many vehicles do you have?
3, Mr. Chairman.
So, if this is your asset register,
Yes.
What is the most important attribute of a vehicle?
Condition.
Condition.
Yes. The number...
How do you describe a car when it comes from the assembly plant? You describe it by what? Engine number or chassis number?
Engine number, yeah.
Where is the engine number or chassis number on your asset register?
It's not indicated, Mr. Chairman.
So is that a complete asset register?
No, it's not.
Auditor General?
Chair, it's not complete.
Senator Methu?
Maybe just for clarity, Clerk, and I'll actually be surprised if you are not confident, as the Chair and the Vice Chair is saying, because I remember you were even willing to come and stand with the Governor when he was here, and we told you your day will come. Your day has come. Now,
okay. Now you might land him in trouble if you remind me of that.
No, I don't want to remind you, but let me just go straight to my question, Clerk. Let me not put you in problems. The County Assembly has 3 vehicles. Only 3 vehicles.
Yes.
Including the ones that you inherited from either municipal council, county council. You didn't, in fact, inherit any cars from anywhere.
We ever, since inception of the County Assembly devolution, the first batch of vehicles were bought in 2013. That was 11 years ago.
How many?
2. 2, and then 5 years later, we added 1. And this year we added another one. I mean, last year. So
So you don't have grounded vehicles in your car yard?
We don't have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honorable members, the fact is that this schedule is not complete. And there's a template that has been provided. And I think we saw it when we were looking at Taita Taveta. Clerk, could you just, for the benefit of this clerk, just read out the minimum attributes with relation to motor vehicles, so that we can, when we direct him to go and update this asset register, he knows what to do.
Yes, Chairman, for the motor vehicles, we have financed by stroke source of funds in purchasing the asset, number plate of the vehicles, make and model, logbook number, and registered owner, year of manufacture, date of purchase, date of delivery, and acquisition cost, engine number, original and current location of the vehicle, date of disposal and disposal value, if any, and asset condition.
I think those were the attributes that were missing in that register. I think the auditor flagged what was missing, because otherwise, if it's the total list of attributes, chassis and engine number should be there. There's a template that has been provided, and we expect that there'll be full compliance with that. Senator Dulo.
Chair, I just wanted to ask, who are using these 3 vehicles? And have you disposed any since inception of the assembly?
Yes, we've disposed 2. The rest, one is used by the speaker, another one the clerk, and the other one is undergoing repair.
Is that still 3? You're saying you have disposed 2?
Yes.
And one is used by the speaker, another by the clerk,
Yes.
and another is undergoing repair.
Yes.
So you had 5 vehicles
Yes.
in total.
Yes.
So since you are dealing with 2022, when did you dispose the vehicles you're talking about?
We disposed it 2022.
So then they should have been part of this register for that financial year.
Okay.
So this is incomplete. Now, there's a variance of 400 million between the notes, between the value of fixed assets in the fixed asset register and the total value of assets disclosed in the financial statements. Auditor General, were you able to see the assets that constitute the 414 million?
Chair, this the makeup of this value has not been disclosed to us.
Clerk, can you address yourself to the second paragraph, where there's a variance, an unexplained variance of 414 million on the asset register? Because the list you have provided here totals to 516,270, but it cannot be accurate because you have just demonstrated that there were 2 vehicles that were on this register in that year, which were disposed. It looks like you are just working to satisfy a number. So how do you account for the difference between 516 million and 101 million, as per the Auditor General's report?
On what item?
The second paragraph of the Auditor General's query flags a variance of 414 million between the 2 asset registers. You have not responded to it in your written responses, and yet it is the crux of the matter.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. We acknowledge the auditor's observation. However, we have now updated the asset register consisting of all information as required by law. The Assembly safeguarded its assets by putting in place burglar-proof doors and windows, CCTV cameras, full-time armed police officers, and ensure security of all assets. We have availed a copy of updated register for audit review.
How does that account for 400 million variance? Burglar-proof and CCTV.
Chairman, this was occasioned by the auditor not getting updated register at that particular moment in time. What caused this was we we have been, we used to share the registry, finance registry with the county executive in the same compound. But since in that particular year, the county treasury found itself another compound and moved everything. So part of files and documentation that we used to share the same store were moved. So they could not be available for audit at that moment. But we followed up some of our documents and got them back, and now.
Were you the clerk at that moment?
Yes.
So you take responsibility for not securing the assets of the assembly during that period?
We Mr. Chairman, we were domiciled in the same compound and the same registry with the county executive.
The separation of accounts happened in 2017. I was a chair. In 2022, it cannot be that you are still cohabiting with the executive.
We still share so much, Mr. Chairman.
Even now?
Yes, to date.
Whose responsibility is it to do the separation?
You all understand that the county executive are doing construction of their offices. They are still, in satellite, office. So most financial, documents and filings are still done in some spaces within the county assembly, especially some procurement files.
Yeah, but it does not matter where they are kept.
Yes.
What matters is every person to take ownership of their records, even if they're in the same room. But you should know that in that room, the assembly, our records amount to this amount, and executive it amounts to the other amount, because whatever you're telling us is more of an excuse. This problem was resolved in 2017 in most county assemblies.
However, Mr. Chairman, I am happy to report that to date, now we do not have any we don't have any of our documents filing and lost elsewhere.
Yeah, I think Senator Cherargei, you talked about this condition, the physical condition of that area, but let me not bring it up now. Let's hear from Senator Nyonka, Senator Cherargei, and then Senator Fatumadulu.
Clerk, thank you. I wanted to ask you, Chair has raised an issue about the variance of 400 million. You've not talked about that. Maybe you could allow your CC Finance to explain. I mean, Director of Finance, sorry. Director of Finance.
I will. Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
I think just, we need to be clear, Mr. Chairman, that the 414 million here we're talking about is an unavailed register at that moment in time, which we now have.
Okay, maybe let me not ask you. Control of budget. I mean, Auditor General's office. Do you agree with this explanation? Are you satisfied with it?
Chair, the makeup of this 414 million is not there in the register.
Thank you. You understand why I asked you the question?
Senator Adulo.
Yeah, Chair, maybe I would request OAG. It looks like the clerk has not understood the question. What is your expectation from them so that they can be able to correct the anomaly?
We expect them to give a detailed listing of individual assets and their values, and specifically pointing out the assets that led to the variance of 414,675,644, Chair.
So in other words, their property is worth 414 plus that is missing from the asset register.
Yes, the total they have given is adding up to 516 million, but then the assets making it up is not listed. Yes, Chair.
You see, it's a question of they are guilty as charged. And it is now just upon us to pronounce ourselves. But we must also advise them that you need to have an asset management policy. You need to have an asset register that complies with the template issued by Treasury and the relevant bodies, that in the accrual basis of accounting, issues of asset management are going to be treated differently. Auditor General, can you tell them what to expect with the accrual accounting that is beginning this year?
Beginning 1st of July, the accounting system under the accrual-based accounting will be very comprehensive. All the assets, especially the fixed assets, which were not originally brought into the financial statements, will now be reflected fully with their relevant depreciations, together with the receivables and payables, what they've been calling pending liabilities, which have been outside the financial statement, will now be an integrated part of the double entry system, which will be reflected in the annual financial statement.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Could you listen to Senator Cherargei first so that you respond?
One quick thing, Clerk. Do you have an updated valuation roll? Number 2, this is your financial statement, so it cannot be the maker of OAG. Because if your financial statement, it is the one that brings this variation of 414,675,644. Are you able to explain? Because this is extracted from your financial statement. You are the maker of financial statement. The OAG is just interpreting what you have disclosed in your financial statement. So what would you say about this variance? Can we treat it as lost, misappropriated, or it can be explained? And you remember, Clerk, this is almost 3 to 4 financial years difference. So if you had to explain, you should be. And finally, have you had a management sitting with the OAG? And you know these issues, Clerk, and I know you have been there for some time, is explaining the management later that these issues are raised. I don't think these are the issues you will come and through the chair interact with you for the first time in the Senate. So what have you done to try and explain these variants? Or was it misplaced? You know, when you display the financial statements, is it sufficient to tell us the health of that entity in terms of financial?
Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Like I said, Mr. Chairman, what was at the time of audit, that is before us here, at the time of audit, Mr. Chairman, the updated register was not availed for audit, thereby explaining the variance in question. It does not go to say that anything is lost, nothing is lost in terms of our assets. But when now, when this came up, we availed here full list of updated register. What is missing from that register, Mr. Chairman, and we stand guided, is what the clerk to the Senate read out. For example, the vehicle, the particulars, additional particulars, which we stand
Okay, Clerk, so we agree with the Auditor General that the accuracy, completeness, and validity of your balance with respect to summary of fixed asset cannot be confirmed for that financial year. We shall make appropriate recommendations, but we have already directed you to prepare yourselves for the new accounting reporting requirements and to go to the templates that have already been done by the National Treasury.
The one on valuation?
Clerk, yes or no?
Have you allocated any resources
we
to make sure you have up-to-date evaluation rule?
we have factored it in this year's budget.
How much?
2 million.
Clerk, you know there's an
You
offense
need to
called
be careful.
there's an offense called perjury.
Yes.
You have taken oath and do not respond just to get off an issue.
No, we have.
Of what business is the Assembly doing a valuation role? You have said you are preparing. You have a budget of 2 million.
Mr. Chairman, unless the question, I understood the question.
What question were you answering?
The question,
Maybe
No,
what's the
let-
variation role? That should be the easier question. What's the variation role?
um,
And you have your team there to see.
Maybe you can ask from anybody in your team what the
Please do
variation
not
role
commit
is.
perjury. You have seen we have dismissed your speaker just for contempt. Perjury is a far worse offense. So be careful what you are confirming. to the Senate.
Chair, let me confirm they don't have, and I don't think whether they are factored in the
Point of
budget.
order,
And that
Chair.
is,
Point of order. Senator Dulo is not part of the witnesses in this committee.
but I know.
Can he retreat to the role that
Okay,
he is a member?
clerk, no, I think she was just concerned the clerk is taking too long. Clerk?
But Dulo is not known of that type.
You know, what explains my earlier submission, Mr. Chairman, is that we do not have that particular evaluation committee. What we have,
Clerk,
yes,
I think you don't even understand what evaluation role is.
yes,
It's good to understand first.
okay.
Then from there, you can be able to answer the question.
That's why I'm guiding you. You do not come take an oath unless you do not believe in the God upon whom you swore that you can lie anyhowly. But even if you didn't believe in your God, the law criminalizes perjury. Boris Johnson in the UK was forced out of parliament for lying under oath. And if you're not careful, we would be pushing similar sanctions. Evaluation role is a responsibility of the executive because it is based upon rates, finance bill, and taxes on property is imposed. So unless you have property classes where you impose rates, that then would be the preserve of the executive. But yeah, like Narrow County Assembly, which has some property. So please reflect on your answers, reflect on your responses before you put them on record.
I think they can also guide the executive because they don't have one. So when their budget comes to you, those are the things you need to explain to them.
And you know, secondly, for example, Narrow County Assembly, the land that Narrow County Executive sits on belongs to County Assembly. So they would have a valuation role to charge because they are charging land rate. And County Assembly, for example, you might have some property that you are levying. So you need to get it. Maybe, Chair, through you, do you have capacity challenges in the management of the County Assembly of Isiolo? You feel adequate?
Yes,
So if we get wrong answers for you, we nail it on your head.
of course, we signed the report off, yes. Mr.
No, can you know the problem, Chair, if you have noticed, the clerk does not take time to listen to questions. Because I'm asking, you said you do not have capacity challenges, and I'm happy you came with a number of women today. Number two, I'm asking.
Order, they are ladies. They are not women here.
Okay, ladies.
Honorable members, at 5 p.m., I think let's
Can I
come back to
finish,
the
Chair?
audit report.
Because what I'm asking the clerk is, do you have capacity, Chair? The clerk has said on side he doesn't have capacities. So I'm asking him, should you give us perjury or wrong answers? We take it on you. He says we have signed the report. Can the clerk be listening to questions first, internalize, then answer to allow us to progress?
Yeah, I think that's how we are going to make progress. Honorable members, on asset management, there's a serious problem which shall be aggravated in the next financial year because of the changes in reporting, but we have already told the county what to do. Budgetary
Just a
controls.
question, Chair. The land your office is sitting on, it belongs to you. Are you charging the executive to pay the rent because they are housed there? This is their property.
The title is in the name of
No,
which
but
entity?
title to it.
No, we have ownership documents. Title is in progress.
Is it in this asset register? The LR?
No.
What is the problem?
There is this titling process which is ongoing in Isiolo County, which is ongoing in the whole of Isiolo County. So it's in that process.
But I think you don't tie yourself with the challenge of Isiolo. You can actually process your own title as quickly as possible.
We shall refer you to Narok County, which we have used as an example of an assembly that has gotten a title on its property. Budgetary controls and performance, we'll take the written response on that and resolve prior year matters. We'll also take the written responses. On lawfulness and effectiveness, there was lack of a procurement plan. I can see that in your response you said that there was one uploaded on IFMIS. But if it was there, why didn't the Auditor General see it during the audit? Clerk, unless it was uploaded later. Clerk of the Assembly, you are asserting that you had a procurement plan
Yes.
and that IFMIS wouldn't have worked without a procurement plan.
Yes.
Why didn't you provide that evidence to the Auditor General at the time of audit?
I'll read the response first, Mr. Chairman.
It is 5 o'clock and I want us to deal directly with issues. We take your written response. Now I want you to explain why the Auditor General could not see the procurement plan at the time of audit.
Okay.
And if this matter was in the draft audit report, why you did not respond to it at that point so that it does not escalate?
It's the same, just like the asset register, Mr. Chairman. It was part of the data that moved with the files that were collected by the executive when they were migrating. And when during that particular audit period, we had not traced them.
Okay, so you agree that at the time of the audit it was not presented to the auditors?
Yes.
So we shall go back to the Public Audit Act and find out whether that non-provision of documentation was justified or unreasonable, and therefore propose appropriate sanctions.